Let's go out to Vermont and talk to Jen. What's up, Jen?
Well, hello.
What's up?
I don't know what to lead with.
How about this? Start singing your favorite song, and I'll rank you 1 to 10 on how good you are.
Let's not.
Okay. Awesome. So, hey, no, it's so good. I'm glad that you're here. What's up?
Yeah. Okay. Typed up some notes yesterday, and they're nowhere near with me, so that's not even useful.
Hey, can you do me a huge favor? Your thing's cutting in and out.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry.
Is that better? Keep talking?
Okay. So anyway, I don't know if I should lead with thinking back on it. I'm third generation of not good marriage, and I want to stop that so my daughter's got a good chance. Or should I lead with that my husband's grumpiness is kind of becoming his status quo, and when he becomes happy, I don't even know what to do with that? Or should I lead with we've been married 12 years, and if we've been physically intimate 5 times, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, let's go with option C.
Okay.
That will get the most YouTube clips. Clicks. I'm really interested in your second question. Let's loop back there because I already have a sense, but I'm just guessing. Okay. I'll just be fishing in the dark, but that's a fascinating question you just asked. So y'all been married 12 years. You've had sex 5 times, you think?
Well, probably. Yes. I mean, I'm not really exaggerating one way or the other with
that. Why? Listen, counseling 101, never ask why questions. So thankfully, we're not doing therapy. Like, why? Like, what's happened over a decade that either of y'all have put up with that?
Oh my goodness. I don't even, it depends on who you talk to.
I'm only talking to Jen.
I understand. That's true. Okay. So for me, it was, it turned into lack of trust in the fact that lack of support, I don't feel like this is a partnership in any way, shape, or form. I was definitely feeling like a single mom. I was.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Does he want to sleep with you and you just won't? Or has he had no interest in you for 12 years?
Well, right now, there's really no interest.
Yeah, it's 12 years.
He's so mad.
Okay.
But there was.
He had when y'all got married. Most people have, I'm going to say most people.
When we first got married, no. I was like, are we going to, I believe the technical term is consummate.
Uh-huh.
And 6 months into the marriage, we went back to a marriage counselor that we had seen when we were engaged. And my question was, we haven't had sex yet. So I was the one pushing that.
Jen, I am rarely speechless, and you just got me. You got me.
It's a little nutty.
Wow. I would say nutty, but it's very, very, very abnormal. But so my question to you is, 6 months is a really long time. For some, 6 hours, 6 minutes is a really long time. What were the conversations like?
They really weren't. It's the weirdest.
Yeah.
And it's shocking to me because we're both, we're both smart people.
Has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with that.
We're morons when it comes to any of this.
Okay.
And I'll be straight up. 15 minutes ago, my husband was just sitting at my desk, trying to get a cell phone anyway. And he was at my desk and he saw my day planner open and he was on hold and he goes, "Hey, what's that?" And I was on hold for you.
Uh-huh.
And in it, I had written, this appointment in my day planner. I had to. And he's like, "What's that?" And he goes, "You're not doing that, are you?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm going to." And he's like, "What?" And my whole thing was, I'm like, because I'll grasp at straws.
I lost what you just said. What'd you say, ma'am?
I said, I'll just grasp at anything, not to belittle what you do.
No, trust me, it's definitely you were scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Here's what it feels like. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It feels like one of a couple of things. There is way, way, way more to this story. And when I say that, I mean like abuse, like some severe trauma responses, some very significant, not emotional distress, but mental health disorders. There's something else going on here. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, and by the way, you and I just are meeting. I'm very, very direct, okay? Because most of that is because I love you, and most of that is because I've got a very compressed time, right? So it's only 10 minutes, right? It sounds like for 10 or 12 years, you've been stepping over $1,000 checks and $100 bills to pick up pennies. Like, we're grasping at straws here, but we haven't sat down and asked our husband, like, I want to have sex with you. Can we try this? I feel distant from you. Can we plug in? I feel like a single mom. Can we connect here? And instead of entering into that conversation that admittedly may go awful, may end up in us separating. But it may also end up in us fixing everything. Instead of that, we wait 6 months and then we just call a professional. It's like a tiny little fire getting lit in the actual fireplace. But we just don't deal with it. And 6 months later, the whole house is on fire. Now we got to call the fire department.
Right.
And so I guess circle back. I can't unwind this in a one small little segment. How can I help you right now? Like, what are you aiming for? What's your goal here?
My goal would be, I really like when you mentioned to parents where they're like, my relationship with my kid, I don't know. And whatever age, if they're still at home, they're like, get a notebook. Mm-hmm. Have the kid write something, you write something. Have the kid, and I'm like, what a basic, it's basic. That works, that builds. I guess I'm just...
I only tell parents to do that with kids because kids don't have the intellectual plus the emotional ability to articulate in a conversation.
Right.
Adults should have that. And so if you and your husband are unable to sit across the table and say, dude, we have been living a farce for 12 years. Because you calling and saying I'm frustrated, my husband's grumpy. You know what I mean? That's like...
That's what we call it, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's like your house burning down to the ground and you calling 911 because it's hot outside. That's not the issue here. You saying, hey, I am committed to being the one who breaks the cycle of bad marriages. And out of the gate, 6 months, and I say intimacy, I'm not talking about intercourse. Intimacy, being able to just talk about it with each other. And so instantly the recipe for a marriage that's dysfunctional or that's not working for either of you, that creates a home that's full of tension and chaos, repeats itself again. And that's not on you. That's on the whole system. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Completely. I've been working with a killer therapist for 9 months now.
Okay. Awesome.
For me, if it was just me, one-on-one, from my perspective, I'm radically different.
Awesome.
The people that are really close to me, some coworkers, they can totally tell a difference, they said. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. My husband, obviously, not really. That's not surprising to me because he's
y'all are
looking for just one change.
Yeah, well, as Esther Perel tells it, y'all are in the dance. Y'all haven't addressed the dance.
Right.
Like y'all have a rhythm and a routine. In fact, you don't even know what to do with him when he's not grumpy. And so the incentive inside his own home is to be grumpy. It's like you don't even know what to say to him when he starts speaking to you in Italian. You just want him to speak Spanish because that's the language you know. That's the language your kid knows. That's the language the house dynamic knows. And so even when he peeks his head out and there's joy, it's not met with any sort of reciprocal joy. It's met with, who is this? And he's like, oh.
Completely.
And he goes back to grump, right? So there's this dynamic set up in your home.
Right.
And the only way that gets busted is somebody, you've heard me say this, someone's got to turn the lights on, turn the music off, stop dancing. And what does that mean in real life? That's a big metaphor. People ask me, like, what does that actually mean? That means you getting a babysitter for your child, your kids, and you sitting across the table from your husband and saying, we haven't had sex in 10 years. You don't like being around me, and I don't even know how to interact with you when you're grumpy. I want a different kind of marriage. Are you in to build something completely new? Based on grace and forgiveness and trying new things moving forward because what we've been doing does not work. Anything short of that, you're going to go to therapy. You're going to become this amazing new person on the inside. You're going to walk back into your house, right back into the same costume that you always wear until one of you either has the courage to call it or one of the other one does something just so dumb, cheats on somebody, steals something from somebody, does something awful that then everybody can go, look what they did. Or your child starts acting out to try to get somebody's attention to say, please, can we cut the tension in this home because I can't breathe. Often the way I phrase this is you have to choose your heart. There's not an easy path out of this.
Right.
It's either going to end in a supernova, or it's going to end in a whimper and an ash, or it's going to be something built completely new, and it's going to be amazing. Why are you so avoidant of that conversation? Is he abusing you?
No, there's a lot of everything is said. You're trying to accuse me of stuff. Here you come. You're blaming me again for everything. It all is. And I'm like, I'm not blaming you. I want to can we just have a normal conversation? Can we actually write things on paper? Can we together I brought some of the suggestions that my therapist has said, some of the things that I've heard on your show. And it turns into basically another argument, another full shutdown. I'll have another 5-6 days of no communication.
So behavior's a language. What's he telling you?
That
I'll give you his language. He does not want to be married to you. That's what his language. That's what his behavior is telling you. Tell me I'm wrong. I love being wrong.
I'd like to. But that's been the language since we were dating.
Okay. Until you choose to live in that reality, you're going to continue chasing ghosts. And it's going to be exhausting. Here's the other thing. You may be wrong. There's been a couple of times in my marriage over 21 and a half years when my wife...
when he's been in his happy mood, or we can actually have a conversation, he looks at me and he's even for him, shed tears a few times while saying it. And he says that, he said, I am married to you because for any reason, whether it was a good reason or a bad reason, I believe God brought us together, and I believe that I, on purpose, chose you to be my wife. He has said that probably 3 or 4 times in the last year and a half. And I'm like, so do I believe that?
It doesn't matter what he says. What if I just walked down the street, Jen, announcing to the world how in shape I am?
Right.
Doesn't matter. God wants me to be in shape, and I chose this gym. And I just announced that. God called me to be ripped, and I chose this gym. Do you ever go in that gym and work out? No.
Right.
I'm not talking to you for 6 days for even asking that question, you bastard. Like what are you... I don't care what he says.
So what's the conversation that I have then?
I'll tell you the one I had in my house. I've had it twice, maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times over 21 years. It is 2 adults sitting across the table. And I think I don't remember how I prefaced it. I don't like to think of the specifics, but we need to have a very direct, grown-up, hard conversation that's going to be very emotional. And I just want us both to prep for it. And it goes something like, this marriage as it currently is cannot continue. I do not feel in my body that you want to be married to me anymore. If you do, I've got some real challenges because I'm not feeling it. I'm not accepting it. And I'm not being a good partner to you. We got to do something completely new. Are you in? And every time the other person has said, absolutely all in. But somebody has to sit at a grown-up table, and even if you have to call out, every time we have a hard conversation, you don't talk to me for 6 days, you shut down, you say, oh, what about me? We're not doing any of that today. This is 2 grown-ups having a grown-up conversation. Are we going to stay married? And here's what you have to have already prepared. I need, moving forward, not you haven't done this and you haven't done that. I cannot work that way, because if you come at him that way, he has to defend himself. And his defense strategy is to shut down and become a joy vacuum in his own house. Right? And so the only way forward is for you to say, I need physical and sexual intimacy in my home. I need to be able to have conversations. Good, bad, scary, vulnerable, hilarious, silly. I got to be able to share my life with my partner. And on whatever the things you need. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is for you, but you're going to have to be able to say those things out loud. And this is hard, but I think you be very clear. If you get up and walk away from the table, I will understand that you want this marriage to be over. If you don't talk to me for 5 days after this discussion, I understand you are not interested in changing the way this relationship works. If you're going to sit at this table and we're going to figure this thing out, then I recognize that you're all in. Going backwards over the last 12 years, my gut tells me if I was talking to him, there would be enough blame to go around. Maybe not. Maybe you're protecting him and whatever. Or maybe he's got some major psychological challenges that you have just had to dance around for 12 years. Maybe. Whew. But going back and blaming is not going to help anybody. There's going to be an important forensic accounting of the last 12 years. Hey, this is how you've dealt with conflict. I can't have that moving forward. You got to be present with me. Give me some tools so I can, whenever I need to bring something up to you, it doesn't shut you down. because just shutting down doesn't solve our problem. We're going to have to put sex on a calendar. We're going to have to put weekly meetings on a calendar. We're going to have a budget together. We're going to have parenting conversations. We're going to have to be married. I'm sorry, Jen. I wish I had more for you. I wish I could just pass this one and be like, here it is. This one's tough. This one's tough. This one's tough. But somebody's got to flip the lights on. Someone's got to turn the music off and stop the dance and just say, hey, this is the state of our marriage. We're choosing reality. It's the state of our marriage. I'm going forward no more. We got to be different starting now. Are you in? Let me know how it goes, Jen. We'll be thinking about you.